Hello everybody, I'm going to build an easy cold frame for your garden. Here you can see it's on my strawberries, and the strawberries came out great. I pulled the cold frame off of it. And so to start the project, the first thing you're going to need is I've used two 6-foot fence boards, and these are 1x6, but I'm cutting 2 inches off. So you'll end up with the bottom frame portion, which will be your box, will be 24 by 36. And then I'll use the 1x2s for the gable ends. So I'm just building the box here, and like I said, this is 24 by 36. You can make it bigger or smaller to accommodate whatever planter or garden spot you're going to put it on. I found that this works good throughout the garden because once I take it off the strawberries, I'll put the cold frame in the garden, and as I bring the starter plants out of the greenhouse, I can just pop this on the starter plants. And it's so I just put my vertical piece on here, and these are cut at 12 inches, and I'm just checking to make sure they're square, and I've cut the angle that I need it, and so I'll just mount that to the top of the 1x4 and just use a clamp to clamp the end, and then I'll just put a screw in from the side straight through, and I've used a 3-inch screw. That's all you need. And once I fasten that on, and then I'll put a screw on the front where I've had the clamp. So you can see that the gables are done on both sides, and they're up 12 inches to the back, and what I've done is just cut a spreader board, and that's at 36 inches as well. And I'll just tighten that up and put a couple of screws in each end. And that's pretty well the framework built. These go together really quickly. I've got about 6 of them. And they're easy to put the plastic on and move about. And so you can see once that's done, and showing you a detail of the corner. Very simple. You don't have to be too elaborate on these, but they will give you probably about 3 to 4 weeks head start on all your gardening in your garden. My strawberries are definitely evident from that. And like I was saying earlier, we've had a terrible spring here this year. So just 2 screws in there, and there's the back of the cold frame. And so I've cut my plastic 40 inches wide, so that's 2 inches bigger on both sides, so it overhangs. And I just have a staple in the bottom there, and a couple on the outside. And then I put a cleat on the bottom of that. And on top, you can see I've added a cleat to the top of the frame, so when I bring the plastic up, and what I've mounted on the front there, that's called a rolling board. So we'll just mount our plastic to that, and with a staple gun, and I bring it all the way across the face and to the bottom, and then I'll just trim off the excess. And then I'll put a cleat on that as well. And I'm just nailing the cleat on with some spiral nails, some 1.25 inch spiral nails. And the cleats were 1/4 inch. I just ripped them off some fence boards. Just making sure that the staples are down. And then once I get these fastened, then I'll trim off the plastic from the end, and I can use that on the inside of the gables. And what we're going to want to do is fasten the plastic to the 2 sides, and we'll do that with some staples, and I'll also use a couple of screws just to hold it in place so I can pull it taut. And that's pretty well the frame built. They're quick and easy, and if you're going to build 3 or 4 of them, you can set up your saw or skill saw and cut the pieces that you need. And I'm doing this to show you that you don't have to make it too elaborate, but this will speed up your gardening process and give you good healthy plants. It's always better to plant them in the garden than it is to let them stay in the greenhouse too long. You can see there's the board there, and I'll put another board on top of the rolling board there. And that's so that whenever you roll up the plastic, you can just roll it up to the top and set it on the top when you want natural sunshine to get in. And then in the evening, we can just roll it down. And I'm just going to take the waste that I cut off the bottom, and then I'll put that on the inside. I'm just using a couple of screws with washers on it, basically so I can pull the plastic, and then I'll put a bunch of staples in it to hold it in place. And this is inexpensive to build because fence boards are quite cheap, readily available, and 6 foot high is the standard height for fence board. That's why I use the 6 foot. You can see that I've overlapped the plastic just a little bit on the side. And this isn't to keep out water or anything. This is to keep out the wind and keep the warmth in at night. And I've just laid it down the side, and what I'll do is just put some staples in it. The hammer tacker there. And I'll do the other side. Then we'll take it out and give it a test fit in the garden. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. We're going to do a few garden videos of different things coming up. So if you have any questions, please send it along. You can see the cleat on the bottom as well. The reason you put the cleats is to stop the plastic from tearing right through or tearing out of the staples. And you can see that just sits up nicely in the front. But yeah, if you have any questions or any ideas for future projects that you'd like to see, please send them along. I'd be glad to get back to you on them and to try the project. So here we are out at the planter box where it lives, and we'll be taking this off. And the strawberries have grown quite well, and I even put a pot on the inside of it for a small planter that we have. And you can see how well they've grown. And we're in the 1st of May here. The dog's just waiting for them to ripen up. She likes the strawberries. We just got a spot in the back. And once I take these off the strawberry planters, then I'll relocate them throughout the garden. So I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks a lot for watching.